So I don't know how long that's been a worth verb, but they've made it one.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Thomas Podcast here today. Today, I'm joined with John, Rees, and Beef to talk about Obi Wan Kenobi, the Star Wars Disney show. And I thought I'd choose these three guys because you guys loved it when the last time it was the four of us, and there was two people on either side of a coin. I wonder that it'll be the same today. It probably won't be. I'll probably be on my own in my own little corner. But yeah. Just a quick pre-warning for this, there will be spoilers ahoy from the off. So if you don't like spoilers for Ewan McGregor wandering around the desert for 6 episodes, go watch Ewan McGregor run around the desert for 6 episodes. Come back here and we can talk about Ewan McGregor wandering around the desert for 6 episodes. Anyway, quick pretense. I really don't like Star Wars. I like the original trilogy, and then it's all rubbish. And I mean all rubbish. The best thing apart after that is Rogue One. And even then, that's the second half of the movie. So,
I mean, you've already fucked yourself up there, haven't you?
I was going to say, a lot of people have just left the podcast now.
You say the best thing after the original trilogy is Rogue One, when Rogue One is set directly before the original trilogy.
No, but I meant not chronologically. I meant in terms of.
I mean, you know how to make friends in different fandoms, don't you, Alex? You really do.
Yeah.
Welcome, Star Wars fans. I hate everything Star Wars.
Well, this isn't the first.
Our kingdom alienating the world one podcast at a time.
This isn't the first Star Wars podcast on the show, obviously, so that's all right. We did the first 4 episodes of The Mandalorian. I didn't like that either. So this should be fun. So what did you guys think about Obi Wan Kenobi?
I mean, for starters, it's not just 6 episodes of a man wandering around the desert.
Yeah,
that was me trying to be as spoiler free as I could.
Yeah, but I mean, come on, like this is a podcast about Obi Wan Kenobi. Only an idiot would listen to a podcast about the television show Obi Wan Kenobi if they didn't want to be spoiled for the television show Obi Wan Kenobi.
This is true.
I mean, are you genuinely saying that you think that the time of podcast listeners are idiots, Alex?
I'm not saying the loyal ones are, but we've had a few in the past. But hey.
I mean, what, that one also on the show, who knows?
Who knows? But yeah, what did you three think of this before I give my opinions? Did you guys have a good time?
It's an odd one for me, because the thing is, I think this was originally supposed to be a film on its own merit. And it languished in development hell for the good part of I think nearly 4 or 5 years anyway, since rumblings were first heard of it, and hence the advent of Disney Plus and a massive online streaming platform. It's become where it has. And I mean, there was never any sort of outcry, I think, massively for this. So it has come from sort of somewhere. I think that there's a story to tell in it. And while for a lot of points this has been entertaining, it sort of fights to be any one thing, because it seems a little bit like 2 series mashed together, which is sort of what happened with the last series of Mandalorian. Yeah, Mandalorian seemed like that and the Book of Boba Fett all mashed together, and this seems like a sort of Inquisitor series mashed up with an Obi-Wan Kenobi series. So it's a little bit of both, but there's still enjoyable parts, and there's tentpole moments to each episode. So it's a bit of an odd duck overall.
Yep.
I thought it was cracking. I mean, as somebody who's a fan of the original trilogy, who's particularly a fan of the episode 3, Revenge of the Sith, I really, really enjoyed this. Because obviously it plugs a gap in between Revenge of the Sith and that original trilogy, if you like. Yes, there were some bits that were absolute pure fan service, but it was fan service done very, very well. And, the kind of thing that you were quite pleased not to be spoiled around. The kind of stuff that as Star Wars fans you wanted to see for some time. I think it was very well done. I think, I tend to agree with Beef that there were points where it felt like 2 series kind of mashed together. but I liked how they interlinked them. I liked how they linked those stories in with, the Obi-Wan and Darth Vader story, and it didn't exactly feel seamless, but it felt well done enough to make it kind of relevant to the story that they were telling.
No, on the whole, I've really, really loved this series. I think, if it was meant to be a film, there are moments in it which I feel like they've kind of just, padded it out to make it 6 episodes. There's probably bits and you think, oh, that can be cut. But on the whole, like I said, it is a great continuation of like the prequels. It's just some really surprising directions, very fan pleasing. And I think if you're a Star Wars fan, I guess it's like, top notch. But no, I really enjoyed the whole. Just like I said, I think the 6 episode run. Just moments that I just thought, this doesn't need to be there, does it? But yeah.
Okay, right. Look, this series had a massive sort of uphill decline for me because like I said, don't like Star Wars. I really don't like the prequels. There's not a good prequel film. People say Revenge of the Sith is good. It's not good. It's better than the rest because the rest are some of the worst films of the 2000s. So that's what people say. That's my opinion. People obviously do enjoy that film, and they're more than welcome to enjoy films.
Yeah, some people say the Earth is flat. Doesn't make sense.
Yes, that is true. And one of the things I did not really like from the original trilogy was Hayden Christensen as Anakin Skywalker. Not his fault. His dialogue was just shit. So then people were like, "Oh my god, Hayden's back!" I was like, "Oh, great." What do I think of Obi Wan Kenobi? I didn't have a terrible time. I thought it was distinctly average from start to end. Right. I had some moments that I really did like and some moments I really didn't like. The moments I didn't like all had to do with Darth Vader. One decision I'll never understand in the series is why are you putting Obi-Wan Kenobi against Darth Vader again? It's pointless. We know where that's going to end. It's all fan service. It makes no sense. The final battle of this entire series has absolutely no stakes to it whatsoever because we both know they're going to walk away at the end relatively unharmed compared to where they are now. So I just didn't enjoy that. I also didn't enjoy the whole Luke hunts it. The finale really actually soured me on the show. I thought it was really disappointing, actually. I do agree that the Inquisitor stuff was actually probably the best part of it, and I would have preferred an Inquisitor series over Obi-Wan Kenobi, actually. I thought the Inquisitor and sort of the drama between them and the hierarchy of the Sith was much more interesting than Obi-Wan Kenobi. Oh, look, Leia's ran away again. Shucks. Oh, he's got Leia. But oh, wait, Darth Vader's there, so he's going to leave Leia behind so he can go fight Darth. Oh, shit, he's lost Leia again. Oh, no. Oh, look, it's Kamal Nanjiani. He's here now. It's like, all right.
Okay, so what was the biggest, most exciting moment of this series? The moment that got the entirety of Twitter melting down, the moment that got everybody that had been watching it absolutely gobsmacked and going fucking hell. It was that first meeting in episode 3 between Obi-Wan and Darth. So that is why
that's the hook.
That is why we've been given more of that, because people have actually wanted to see it. You say it, you know what happens. Well, actually, you don't, because yes, you know what the final outcome is, but you want to see Obi-Wan's reaction. You want to see Obi-Wan's reaction finding out that Darth is still alive, that Anakin is still out there. Because don't forget, at the end of the prequels, he thinks Anakin's dead.
I just don't.
This series actually does nothing to harm the canon of the original movies.
Yeah. But it does, in terms of emotional storytelling, it doesn't take you to a different. It doesn't take you to a different destination, because
if anything,
character-based emotional storytelling, it works.
If anything, it's actually clears up a couple of points.
Yeah.
If I could, because like John said, it's an emotional journey, and Obi-Wan has thought that Anakin is dead, finds out that Anakin actually has survived and is now this figurehead that is known as Darth Vader, but he's trying to disassociate this character with the person that he knew. And you get that journey through it by the end of it. because he feels this emotional guilt and trauma that the things that he did, could he avoided it? Could he have served his friend better? Did he let him down? And by the end of it, he Anakin, Darth Vader, says to Obi-Wan, you didn't kill Anakin, I did. I'm what remains. And instead of saying goodbye, my friend, or goodbye, Anakin, he says goodbye, Darth. And when he meets Luke in A New Hope, he says to Luke that his father was killed by Darth Vader. And when he meets Darth Vader in the Death Star, he only calls him Darth. He doesn't call him Anakin.
Yeah.
It's a cool little route around to the fact that nobody knew that was the plan in the fourth movie. And it's a cool line you can put in there, but for me, held no emotional weight. Look,
So hang on. So we're saying that making things up as you go along is a bad thing now, are we?
No, I'm not saying it's a bad thing because it worked out for Star Wars, unlike certain things.
Mr. Kingdom Man, Mr. Chibnall Stan, Mr.
I am.
Yeah. Biggest example.
Mr. Put your first draft on a fag packet, man.
I do not agree with the first draft, but no, I just think that for me anyway, as a non-Star Wars fan who couldn't care about, I like the one thing that is really fun to me in the series is Darth Vader. I think Darth Vader is a really cool character. So why you put him in this series, I will never understand. I just think you're saying you don't know the in middle bits of how we got from A to B, and you can sort of play in that area and have a fun. What was everyone doing in this time where he was being an old man, chopping down some meat, waiting for Luke to be ready to become a Jedi, and but wait, he's got one more adventure, and we believe in you. Ewan McGregor, he's got a funeral, a marriage to pay for. So he's going to come back as Obi Wan Kenobi and do his. I don't know. It felt like we didn't get anything from episode 1 to episode 6. Nothing changed. Nothing changed.
No,
at all.
No.
I mean, technical point. Firstly, it wasn't a funeral or a marriage you had to pay for. It was.
I couldn't think of the word.
It was a divorce, which is kind of a combination of the two. But
it's the death of a person's bank account.
I mean, there's certain things you take out of it. Like, for a start, McGregor and Christensen have still got it. I know Christensen is not everybody's cup of tea, but they have still got it. They've still got that presence to be Obi-Wan and Darth.
I can agree.
For anybody that enjoyed the prequels or some of the prequels, or anybody that grew up with the prequels, that's really actually important. This is the point we're at with nostalgia now, where actually stuff that was doing the rounds in my 20s, we're now getting nostalgic revisits to, which makes me feel a bit fucking old. But
yeah, I can't wait for the Obi-Wan nostalgia.
This is revisiting the early 2000s. If that's nostalgic, God, I'm screwed.
I don't mind nostalgia for the late 90s and early 2000s because, to be honest, that's about 5 years that, for various reasons, I don't remember bits of. But
but you do get a character journey, because where you meet Obi-Wan at the start of it, the guy is a bit lost.
Yeah. And by the end of it, he still feels a bit lost. He's still sort of like, oh, well, I've lost my friend. The universe is still a bit shit, but hey, at least I've got emotional closure.
No, he's not lost because he knows what he has to do. He knows what.
He's a man who's lost faith. He's a man who's lost faith in what was his beliefs that held him together.
Yeah.
He's a man who'd lost faith in himself.
Yeah.
And wasn't sure really what the point of his actual existence was at the start of it.
He refines himself.
But by the end, he's found his path. He knows that Luke is the future, and he knows what he has to be doing.
Yeah. Okay.
For context, Alex binge watches in like less than a day.
I watched it in 2 different days. I did episodes 1 to 4, episodes 5 and 6. I'll say episodes 1 to 4 were so much better than 5 and 6. Yeah, I was really enjoying it in the first half. Episode 5 was solid. It was like, attack the base sort of style. And then episode 6 was just shambolic in almost every sense. I was getting excited. I was like, okay, we're going somewhere with this. And it was like, right, all this thing I've been looking to do this entire series. I'm going to leave that. I'm going to leave you with a random stranger who I don't really have much faith in. And we get a really cheesy line where he's like, "Can you believe a man with fake Joe? I used to rip people off." Yeah, it works for me. I'm going to go and do this thing now. It's like, oh, okay.
I do agree that just leaving a character with random strangers is a bit weird and a bit odd. Carvanista Bellenbinder.
Look, I complained about it then, and I'm complaining about this now.
And yet, recently you were talking about how on rewatch Flux was so much better and so brilliant.
It was a lot more fun. It doesn't mean that I agree.
See, this is the advantage of having done so many podcasts with you now. I can remember all the shit opinions that you've given.
Yeah.
I can use them as back reference in comparison to you slagging off stuff that's actually quite good.
I don't think. Can we? I don't know. I suppose maybe I'm in the massive minority here, but I just
no. There are some things there are some character changes. Like the Reaver thing is a very quick turnaround.
Ooh.
And to say you could have brought the ending of her a character arc 2 episodes ago, yeah, you could have done. Yeah, that was telegraphed a long way off. And to be honest with you, it didn't make much sense her going after Luke at the end of it because, what was it going to ultimately achieve? So her, although there's nothing wrong with the acting because I know the actress came in line for a lot of needless grief online, where the point that Hugh McGregor had to sort of do a video telling the internet off. Her character could have benefited from perhaps us knowing her true motivations from the start, because it sort of, it
wasn't a very tantalising mystery, was it? I think a lot of people guessed early on that she was a youngling. I don't know, but it came too late, like you said.
I forgot all about that scene at the start of the series. So when she's like, "Oh yes, I saw these guys get slaughtered," I was like, "Oh yeah, that was the first scene of the series, wasn't it?" I forgot all about that. But yeah, I agree with you. Midway through episode 5, does it come through?
Yeah.
And it's a bit late.
Yeah.
And then we get one badass scene between her and Vader, which is really cool. It's a good scene.
I think we're swiftly reaching the point where Ewan McGregor's going to do another video about Alex Kingdom.
Now, I'm a big fan of Moses Ingram as the character. I think she does a very good job, especially when she is being villainous. Apart from when she, like Beef said, for some random reason decides, "I'm going to go and try and kill a kid now." At the end of this, trying to kind of go against everything that she was, fighting for in that twist. But she's brilliant in everything that she does. To be honest with you, she's the best part of the series in the first few episodes, because she's sort of the only Sith in the series that sort of has no shit. She'll just sort of do whatever to get what seemingly is her goal at the time, which is just to make Obi Wan's life hell. So she's really cool, especially is it episode 2 when they're on that really rubbish planet. I think she's really good in that one, where she gets the whole planet onto them, and
the old parkour,
that one. Yeah, she's really good in that one. The Inquisitor stuff, I think, was the most interesting part of it. Just the character design as well. How does the Grand Inquisitor survive? That's what I want to know. He got stabbed, and at the end of episode 5, he's just back.
In the Clone Wars, I think the animation series, he just keeps getting apparently. You can get resurrected, quite a lot of times.
He's a Kenny McCormack of Star Wars.
Yeah, so
killed off.
So when he was in episode 2, there's a lot of Star Wars fans saying he ain't dead, and obviously he wasn't. I do think it was a bit pointless though how they brought him back for the finale, and each was it one scene being like, "Darth, you shouldn't do this," and Darth's like, "Nah, that's it."
I don't think, unfortunately, with this Disney Plus model, I don't think this is the last time that we've seen those guys. And I say unfortunately, but with the new Disney Plus model, it seems everything, even with Marvel to an extent now, is everything, one character in one show is setting up for them to appear in the next show or the next movie or the next whatever. And nothing can sort of be on its own. And you sort of just got to wait and see when the next show up. Vis-a-vis the Book of Boba Fett, when the Mandalorian just pops up and takes over the entire show.
Hey, if it means that we get a Captain Carter / Captain Britain series, I'm up for that.
Mm.
Yeah, me too. Let's move on to like the central plot of this. What do we make of it being a sort of search and find Princess Leia sort of thing? She's been taken because she's a little kid who likes to run out into the forest, and Obi-Wan's got to go and get her. What do we make of that? Was it a good plot? Did it hook us into the series?
I thought it was a very cool subversion because a lot of people going into the series obviously thought it was going to be kind of Luke focused. I've seen a lot of reviews being like, most of the reviews I've watched, in all honesty, have been like very against the actress who played on girl. But I thought she brought so much life to this series. Like, I think she was so quick and great, and yeah, I was pleasantly surprised with that arc. I don't know who else. Yeah.
Given how annoying child actors generally are, she was actually pretty good. She really was.
Yeah, I think she got a little bit underserved in the last 2 episodes because up until that point, I think she'd been quite strong. To be honest with you,
Yeah.
Everyone thought that this was going to be another, basically just like a Tatooine-based series. So it's just going to be another program that's just stuck in bloody sand, much like the Book of Boba Fett was. So at least this had that variety that it went off and went to different places. So having the Leia storyline was a bit of a change to what we expected. And I think you know how like throughout every trilogy of movies, there's a sort of commonality of theme, to be honest with you. So the idea of him safeguarding, the young kid and everything like that does sort of play into the prequels, which it's following on for with Anakin. So,
yeah, no, I thought Leia was probably the best part of this series in the first couple of episodes. The issue is, I think they struggled to make the plot last for 6 episodes, so they just had to keep losing her and getting her back and losing her and getting her back. And by that point, it just became tedious because whenever she would be saved, she'd run off or something, and you'd go, "Oh, for Christ's sake, not this shit again." So by like Beef said, towards the end of the series, it sort of becomes underserved, so it doesn't do anything because that kind of being the only solid plot thread throughout for Obi-Wan, it kind of wraps up by episode 4 anyway. So really there's nowhere for Leia to go in the series, but the actor does a fine job. I think she's quirky. She certainly has very good chemistry with Ewan McGregor. I think they bounce off each other in scenes really well. I think that's what, those two together are certainly really cool whenever they are together. But yeah, no, I don't know. I just think that plot line sort of ran its course by about episode 3, and then we were still doing it in episode 4 and slight bit of 5. And I was like, Christ. So it's getting a bit tedious, though, isn't it? Maybe that's just me.
Well, I think that then it gets overtaken by the bigger part that's been building through the other part, isn't it? Which is to then bring Kenobi and Vader together. Yeah.
What they also is positive. There's not much Hayden Christensen in this show.
I think they could have used him more. If I'm honest.
Me too. Because
I would have liked more flashbacks.
Yeah, if they used.
There's the bit where I think they're doing practice fighting in, I think, is it episode 3? I think that you could have had more flashbacks like that, in the lead up episodes to it as well, or certainly after episode 1 when you find out he's alive.
Yeah, I think I know Reese said you just said that he's good. He's not in it that much. I just wish he was used well in Star Wars, because he's not used well in this either. The use of the flashbacks are goddamn awful. They just start sporadically popping up through the episode in chronological order, which means Obi-Wan's not thinking about these flashbacks because there's massive gaps, and they just revert back like he's watching them on a DVD player. So they're just kind of for us to see there, and it just doesn't work. And then you get that really cringy line, which is, you didn't kill him, I did. Ah! It's like, oh, all right then. Cool.
That's not sort of cringy.
It felt cringy to me. It's to give Obi-Wan the compliments that no, he didn't kill his friend. It's not your fault, Obi-Wan. It was his destiny to become this evil man, and you had nothing to do with it.
No, it was a case of that it was his own actions that led him there.
But it's Star Wars, so it's always their destiny, Beef. It's Star Wars. It's always their destiny to do something. It was Anakin's destiny to bring balance to the Force. It was Luke and Leia's destiny to then save the universe. And then Rey did something, I suppose. I still don't really know what that plot line was. But
so when like Obi-Wan's like saying, "Oh, I failed you" at the end, you were like not emotionally connected. No,
I couldn't care less.
Yeah. It was Alex. It was Alex Kingdom's destiny to rip the piss out of it on a podcast.
Yeah, well, because where this stuff does do well is I think the dialogue's pretty sharp for the most part. Zach Braff's in it, which is really funny. Zach Braff is very good in it as that one character who drives them across the fields before he dies.
The mole man.
The mole man.
But what about Indira Varma?
I wasted potential.
No.
Great.
I thought she was great, but one character I would love to have seen gone through this series and had their own show would have been her. She was the one that I.
But you have to have a character die.
Leia.
And they could give her
So part of the expectations.
and they could give her, and I mean they could give her a prequel show to it.
Oh God! Stop with the Star Wars prequels. I'm tired of this shit. Give us Star Wars sequels. That's what I really want.
Well, yeah, because you were just really, really complimentary about the Rey character.
Oh no, Rey didn't die. Oh, good point. I thought Rey died. It was Ben instead. No, I thought she was a really cool character. I really like how she isn't just somebody who is pretending to be trusted, and then it actually, oh no, I was evil the whole time. I pretended to not be evil. It was actually a character you can have a lot of care for. And she does have a good back and forth with Ian McGregor again with a lot of their dialogue. Oh, you can't just forget the past. You have to use it, and
you find out what happened to the world after the universe after the last film. Which not all science fiction films or TV shows really keep up with that sort of thing. They conveniently forget the universe shattering events that happened in the previous installment, as you will know. And so I think it's good to see how it affects the people. It's someone who signed up for something and finds out it's not what they signed up for. So they want to change it. They want to. They realise what they signed up for wasn't right.
Yep.
So I think that character is done well.
I also think as well, one thing that is really good about this era of Star Wars, even many compliments, is this post sort of Revenge of the Sith era is that all of the good guys are legitimate underdogs. They are all underpowered. They are all kind of up against them all in every sense of the word. Whatever planet you go to, whichever character it is, they are up against a legitimate fucking army, which does make it compelling when you have scenes like Episode 5 where they are stuck in that, bunker and whatever, and they can't really attack the Empire. All they can do is defend and try and buy as much time as possible, which makes that really interesting, which is why that sequence is probably the best sequence in the entire show. But yeah, I think where the show kind of goes for its high points, it fails at, but the actual thematic storytelling I think is pretty good. Just whenever you bring Darth Vader in it for a fight, I just gotta go, okay. This is the moment to get people on Twitter going mental because look, it's Darth Vader and he's got his little red lightsaber and he's going to attack everyone's blue lightsaber. And oh, look, he's burning him because thematic.
Yeah, but that's just entertaining to watch.
Yeah.
I just don't think it is. Alex. I didn't like the fight on Mustafar in the third film, so that's what it is.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well.
You go and watch a kung fu movie for the fighting. Yeah.
Yeah, I agree with you.
some people watch adult entertainment. Funnily enough, not for the stories. So look, if we want to see two space wizards just fight it out with glowing laser swords, then yeah, sign me up, Chief.
And I would be entirely down for that, given there were any stakes in the fight whatsoever. But there isn't. And this is why I believe that.
Well, there is to a certain degree, because at the start, Obi-Wan has no fighting juice left in him at all.
Nope. And he gets his ass handed to him.
And even by the end of it, he's got a certain amount of it back, but he's still outmatched. And there's, by the time you get to the fight between them in episode 4, there's another change to it as well. So, you have how Darth Vader goes from being someone who's imprisoned in a mechanized suit, who is completely lost to a certain degree a lot of the movement that he didn't have, certainly when you saw him in the fourth film as well, but the force powers that he exhibits are increased to counterbalance the other. So it's good to see how that develops and how they reach the point that you see them at in that fourth movie.
Yeah, no, I don't disagree with you there. I think that's fine. I just think that in the moments where they're obviously doing the dramatic, oh, he's got his lightsaber on his neck, oh, is he gonna kill it? I just gotta go, well, you know what's gonna happen here, so it's not dramatic. Also, I'd say as well, the fights are fine in this. They're not that spectacular. They all happen on like rock planets, and they don't look particularly great in a show that does, for the most part, look pretty slick. I don't know. I just think whenever those two came to blows, I just sort of went, eh.
I think I agree with you to a certain extent that there's a lot of grey in this. So when you think in Revenge of the Sith, they're fighting on Mustafar, so it's like a giant, fire-breathing planet, and they're having this massive battle and everything like that. Yeah, there's less of like a spectacle to the background and the scenery. And I would have liked some of the more classic sections of music that you only get in very brief little parts in this to add to it. Yeah, I'd love that.
Yep.
But they're still entertaining to watch.
Yeah, no, I think this is where like non-Star Wars fan versus Star Wars fan comes in. It's like if there was a sequence in Doctor Who with like a returning villain or something, and all of us as Doctor Who fans would go, "Oh my god, this is great." A non sort of half Doctor Who fan would go, "Oh, okay."
I think a lot of like fan pieces of Darth Vader. So he said the first fight, obviously, like he tries to burn him, like obviously you got burned, and then the final fight, obviously, he has the high ground. No meme intended. Do you know what I mean? So. Again, it's all kind of how invested you are in the, but then you're watching Obi-Wan. So if you're watching Obi-Wan, you're gonna know what Darth Vader.
Yeah, you are sort of like if you're signing up to watch a show called Obi-Wan. The chances are you're actually pretty already vested in it to a certain degree. They could have let a lot of secrets go. Instead of sort of building up to it earlier on, because you're playing to an audience who knows this sort of stuff straight away. So you could have had a lot more emotional stuff and heavier character stuff throughout all of this instead of build up to a certain degree.
I was told to watch this one up. I did, because I gave up on Mandalorian season 1, and I probably won't go back, to be honest, just because so much content these days. But it didn't win me over. Some of the series, like John was saying, it's like I think you said, was it episode 5 was the best, in your opinion, the best single piece of episode that Disney Plus has produced? I could be getting you wrong there. It might have been episode 5, but you said one particular episode in the season for you anyway was the best that Disney Plus has done. Was it 5?
Yeah.
So I was like, okay, this must be good. And I do trust John's opinions on stuff. I do think when John says something's good, that it is, at least for me, good to great. I don't know. Like, I watched it. I didn't hate. I said to John last night, I was like, I'm not going to give anything away, but I'm not hating it. But I just thought that like this series, I just think it serves no purpose. I think that like you don't leave the show going, oh, I know so much more about Obi Wan now. I know so much more about what happened in between 3 and 4. You can just go, oh, it's this little chapter where he wandered around for a bit.
Alex, in the grand scheme of things, can you name me any part of science fiction or indeed any kind of fictional storytelling that does serve a purpose?
Yes. The Battle of Ranskoy Kolos. Case closed.
You know, most films in some way, shape, or form, has what I can only describe as like a training montage, Alex.
I don't know. I just feel like it just,
not all films are in real time. You know.
Yeah, I know, but I just feel like this is a bit meh. I just feel like it didn't add the thing. I'm paying $7.99 for a subscription. I'm not going to complain. Would I pay $7.99 to watch this movie in a theater? Probably. So you know, I just feel like it could have been 4 or 5 parts would have done the job.
I think it could have been actually a couple more parts. The one thing that did surprise me today, I don't know if anyone else has picked up on this, because originally wasn't this episode supposed to be like an hour 20 or an hour plus?
Advertising a running time of like an hour 30. But I don't know.
And what we only got was 50 minutes.
I don't know exactly where that came from, sort of thing.
This stuff's been cut, or if that was like I said, that was a lie. Or
I've heard rumors that there's going to be basically an extended version of the last episode released in the upcoming months.
Okay,
Great. Hopefully we can get more Qui-Gon Jinn, because that was just a paycheck for Liam Neeson to pop up at the end for no thematic value and go, oh mate, I didn't want to join you in the series because I was too busy filming this thing I actually like, but Star Wars gave me a lot of money, so I'll show up at the end and go, good job fella, you've done the right thing.
I was there the whole time. You just weren't ready to see me, and I was just watching you bash one out the cave.
I'm sorry, but I don't mean to be mean, but I can't defend that. That was one of the poorest endings to anything I've ever seen. It was so stupid.
That was like, oh shit, we haven't done that yet. Let's check that off.
There are rumors of other parts where he would have played a part earlier in that episode.
Yeah, there's a lot, like when he was kind of stuck in the rocks, I was thinking this could be a good moment, you know, just an inspirational, come on. But no, just at the end, like, yeah.
On all accounts, there was allegedly going to be a point where, obviously, that they were fighting, and Qui-Gon said to Obi-Wan, I can still sense some form of good in him and everything like that. But that's sort of foreshadowing something that you get later on in the series of movies.
Mm-hmm.
So...
Yeah, it felt in the end like they could have just dropped that whole plot, because it actually did kind of, like, we all talk about like fan service, but that is fan service, but not in a good way. That's fan service going, hey, look, you like Liam Neeson? Well, here he is. We paid him to go on a soundstage for 2 minutes and say 3 lines.
Well, I think it's also a case of that Obi-Wan has still more to learn.
Yeah.
And this is the process by which he learns it.
Mm. Yeah, I suppose.
So if anything, it's more of a lead-in for season 2, because he'll have been learning stuff under tutelage.
Right, more Obi-Wan Kenobi. Let's goddamn hope not. We don't need it. We don't need it. We don't need it. But some people will want it, and they pay their Disney Plus subscription just as much as I do. So who am I to stop you from suggesting series? I don't.
You get your High School Musical films.
I do, and I do enjoy my High School Musical films very much. It's not a joke. It's better than this. For one, it's entertaining. But hey, that's just me. But look, seriously, wrapping up without me taking the piss, I think the series was fine. It was serviceable. It was enjoyable in parts. At no point did it have me going, oh, for Christ's sake. I just think the moments where it was supposed to hit bigger for me, it fell flat, because it's just my issue with prequels in general, to be honest. I'm just not a massive fan of the whole, oh, look, we got a great drama between these two characters that will perfectly be fine anyway. So for me, that just instantly takes it out. It's like having Dumbledore in those Fantastic Beasts movies. It's like, what's the point? With Star Wars prequels, we're going to do them. I would rather have characters that are just so unrelated to anything else in the universe. Show me the universe. Show me things that aren't linked to anyone. So all the characters are new and different, and I can get invested in them. But hey, that's me. If I had to give this something out of 10, I'd give it like a 6. I don't think I was too harsh. A 6 out of 10 is all right, isn't it? That's like average. It's a decent score. No, what are you going for? Like 9s and 10s on this? Is that the level here?
I'd give it at least an 8.
At least an 8. Damn.
Yeah, I think it's an 8.5 from me.
You're sipping the Star Wars juice, you two.
Well, I certainly think like there's some like good tie-ins to it. The spaceship chase is very similar to how like A New Hope opens. Yeah. Ben goes off through Beggar's Canyon, which is where the pod race and Anakin started, and that's how Obi-Wan's journey started. And it's also to do with Luke's journey as well. So, yeah, the stuff with Leia as well is very similar to what happened with rescuing Leia as well in A New Hope from the Death Star. Yeah. So there's sort of like lots of echoes of other stuff. So it's and I think that's how Star Wars works. It works on a mythic type thing because it's this sort of they say the film as a whole is, but Lucas based it on the hero with 1,000 faces. So although the characters change, the overall arc of the story remains the same. And you sort of have that with this. I would disagree with you in the cases that I do think I think Ewan McGregor actually acts his pants off in this. The visuals are very, very good, but on the other side, I would say there are elements where it's like there's a lot of grey to it. There's a lot of darkness to it, and I feel that perhaps some of the like bigger set scenes would benefit from brightening up, or like the settings being in a brighter situations to sort of add extra oomph to their impact. But I can't argue with the fight scenes or anything like that. I'm definitely going to give it an 8.5. I just would have liked more light, more classic music, if I'm honest with you. But I hope there will be a second season too. I think there is a little bit more that we can milk out of this story. I think no more than two.
Obi-Wan Kenobi.
But I think where you've got the formation of the path and what will become the rebellion, I think you've got that little bit more juice left in the story to take from this.
Can I ask them, would you take season 2 and would you just make it like a bit adjacent to everything else that's happening? Because I think the big issue for me is this was so linked with Luke, Leia, Darth Vader that realistically, for me anyway, and obviously that's what the fans want. I was hoping this would be an Obi-Wan story where he didn't have to deal with those characters. He'd sort of just go off and do his own thing within this time, maybe a bit under the radar, not like laser fights in the sky.
I don't think it needs to be like, Obi-Wan Kenobi is the A-team and you have a problem and nobody else can help them. If you can find him, maybe you can hire Obi-Wan Kenobi. But I definitely think with the idea of the start of what becomes the rebellion, because at the moment all you've got is what they call it the pathway or the path, which is like a sort of underground railroad for Jedi. You've got the start of that. I think if you lean into that with regards to perhaps season 2 and a plot story for Ben Kenobi, then that will work. But then after that, you don't need to have any more. Because the thing is, he says, I don't need to sort of overlook Luke anymore because Uncle Owen and Aunt Peru have got that covered because they have agency of their own that they display in this.
Yeah, another good character actually we didn't mention was Uncle Owen. I thought Uncle Owen was actually a really good character in the show. Every time he'd show up, no matter he wasn't in very much, but when he was, I thought the guy portraying him was really good. Yeah, no, Obi Two Kenobi. I might check it out as long as Darth Vader and all that, isn't it? I think I'm just tired of that iconography and those characters coming back. Like, I've seen enough of Darth Vader. Like, I think that's all it is.
I think we've got like maybe a Reva show. I don't know if this is like if I read into it too much, but like, this sounds a bit obviously samey with Anakin, but like. It felt like at the end it was everyone kind of like, oh, I'm going to try out Reva. So maybe if there was like a Reva show and he appeared in that, so it wasn't like a.
That'd be cool.
No, yeah, I don't know. But
yeah, no, I think at the end of the day, just do something different. I think the big issue for me is this was so stuck in with characters that we know. What happens to them, like Luke, like Leia, like Darth Vader? I think if this was just everyone slightly adjacent from them going on his own little adventure with characters we've never seen before, it would have been so much more interesting to me. But I understand for the Star Wars fans, they wanted to see him fight Darth Vader one more time.
It's a deeper understanding of how they reach that point.
Oh no, I get what they're going for. They're going for the thematic. Obi-Wan needs to let go of this emotional position that he's in, thinking that he killed one of his mates and thinking that he was the reason for this and whatever. And then when he gets to the end, he realizes actually, even the person who I thought I killed doesn't blame me. So therefore, it's like, I didn't do what I thought I did, but it just falls flat because it doesn't really change the character of Obi Wan Kenobi. I don't know after watching this show, look at A New Hope and go, oh, so that's why he thinks X, Y, Z. I just kind of go, yeah, okay. It's another chapter that doesn't really affect the fourth movie.
Well, I can tell you really nerdy ways that you can see it, but yeah.
The fourth, at least now, Obi-Wan Kenobi's heading off into the good movies, into the good Star Wars movies.
I can go down into the way he fights with his lightsaber, and if you look how Alec Guinness does it, compare it with how Qui-Gon uses his lightsaber in The Phantom Menace, and the fighting stances that he takes in the prequels, and in this season, there's a change. So that indicates more training from Qui-Gon. But that's just me being a bit of a nerd.
But yeah, also he does say the "hello there," which made me go, look, they did the meme. Because get it, kids love memes. Let's put more memes in our show.
Yeah, I would love to see another series of this. I do agree that I think much more of that would be overkill, but I think that from where we are here in terms of Obi-Wan's personal journey, there is still some way to go before we get to the point of the hermit that lives in the desert at the start of A New Hope. And so I think there is still some personal development to see. I entirely get the point that there's little jeopardy around the main characters, but that's why you create side characters. That's why they created side characters in this series, so that we can build up some care for them and actually have them be in jeopardy. If you kind of follow the argument of, well, there's no jeopardy in prequels, then you're getting rid of a lot of media. You'd never get to see The Godfather Part 2.
I've never seen The Godfather Part, nor have I seen The Godfather Part.
It may well change your view on prequels, but knowing that you're a little squeamish, I wouldn't advise it. I certainly wouldn't advise it sitting and watching the first film with any members of your family that may be fans of the equine breed.
Okay.
But I think to have that as a dismissal of prequels, I think it's a little short-sighted, because actually that's not what they're about. It's not about having main characters in jeopardy. It's about fleshing out stories. It's about showing emotional journeys. It's about showing you development of characters that you already know. And there's more that you can do than just have your main character be in jeopardy and, oh God, is he going to die? Because that's not going to happen.
Do you know what? I think you're right. I think, do you know what I'll say? I think if I cared about the emotional journey and the characters that we were looking at, I'd probably be like, oh, this is really sick. It comes from a position of
you're tainted because you're not a Star Wars fan.
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
that's what I don't like. I don't like Ewan McGregor as Obi Wan Kenobi in the prequels. I think he's one of the most overhyped parts. I think Ewan McGregor is a fantastic actor. I think it comes down to the writing in the prequels again.
I think
Um,
I think he's done a lot to redeem himself in this series. Actually,
Oh, of course, he
Yeah.
has.
I know not everybody is a fan, but
I know, but
of him in the prequels. I mean, I personally thought he was thoroughly serviceable, and I think that if you kind of watched it, you could see from the prequels that actually he had studied the film, he had studied how Alec Guinness did his work, and
His voice
tried to
changing, yeah.
develop some of those mannerisms. But what I think a lot of people forget is that where the prequels are set, and actually when you look at it now, with him further down the line and having more of Guinness's mannerisms, you kind of have a bit more respect for how over the 20 years he's developed this character.
yeah, absolutely. I want to clarify that. I don't think any of my issues with Obi Wan Kenobi, Ewan McGregor's Obi Wan Kenobi is Ewan McGregor's fault. I think those prequel films are an absolute mess in general, and they all looked horrible.
As you know, I've got a lot of time. I've got a lot of time for the third one.
The third one,
I've got a hell of a lot of time for it. I mean, John Cook, controversial Star Wars opinion here. Personally, I rate it higher than I rate Return of the Jedi. But
favorite.
So
just because I love that fucking bleakness, I love that absolute carnage, dark tone of it.
So did you gain anything out of this? For someone doing like the prequels, what do you think of the original trilogy?
Original trilogy is one of the best film trilogies of all time.
So did you gain anything out of this then? As like somebody who kind of like you just like, oh, I just hate these characters from the prequels. I
thought it was alright. I thought I don't hate these characters. I think the issue is like when you're like, oh, it's really cool to see Anakin Skywalker versus Obi Wan Kenobi. I'm like, I don't care. We saw it. It was mediocre in the third one. We saw that fight. It was okay. Anakin Skywalker lost. He's now in bits. And then that was already meant to be sort of the bridge to the fourth film, and you sort of get that. So like, look, it's adding a chapter to a story that I don't really care about. But it was fine. It was serviceable. Like I said, I pay £7 a month on Disney Plus to watch.
It also does explain, because it has the bit about how Anakin has to win any fight at any cost, and when you see the fight between Darth and Ben Kenobi in A New Hope, why he just surrenders himself to the living force rather than try to win the fight.
He's also probably not got much pension going on down on Tatooine, let's be honest. But he's in his old mad Kenobi, so clearly he's not.
Hey, look, he's jacked in his job, mate. But he still manages to get his own place out beyond the Dune Sea. Man's got some like nice little pension tucked away.
Like,
I mean,
he's doing right.
I mean, to be fair, he was partly paid in stock in the film.
Exactly. Yeah.
He made a hell of a lot of money out of that.
And that Jawa stealing his own pieces just to sell it back to him.
I think, one of the main things were just kind of fleshing out the whole, because obviously when Princess Leia, leaves a message in, there is a bit of history, so it's nice that that's kind of been fleshed out.
Yeah, I suppose.
That's nice. That's another.
It's like I said, it's a nice chapter to a book that I don't care about, if that makes any sense. That's the best way I can describe it. It's a nice little addition to a book that I'm not a massive fan of. It has it's three really good chapters towards the end, and then the author could have ended it, and they thought, no, we're going to continue, and it got bad again.
I feel this was probably going to be a film until Solo made no money. I feel they're probably going to,
Do you think?
That's my guess, anyway.
I think we would have got a Mandalorian film, because that would have been boring as balls.
No, that was so good as a.
I actually really enjoyed Solo.
It was all right, wasn't it? I just think because it didn't make us,
No, it flopped a bit, but no, I thoroughly enjoyed it.
I haven't seen Solo, so I can't comment.
Kathleen Kennedy, you kind of, is in charge of it. I think that was
boss.
I think that was more kind of like she basically said it was more about the kind of recasting old characters. So I guess this could have worked as a film, but Disney Plus is going well. It fleshes out, gives us more screen time. So
Yeah, absolutely.
yeah.
Well, we'll see, and maybe there will be Obi-Wan Kenobi. Who knows? Maybe in a few years, once Obi-Wan Kenobi's done, if the show's still going, we'll come back and we'll talk about Obi-Wan Kenobi, which they better call it, because if they don't call it Obi-Wan Kenobi, I'll be sad. But yes,
No. What they should call it is Obi Wan Kenobi with like the two eyes at the
oh,
end.
that also works. That also works. That also works.
And I hope they change the hashtag, because when they run all the words together, it's really badly thought out.
Oh,
think about it, Alex.
Oh yeah, yep. it says wank. There we go. Yay! That's how we're going to end this week's show. If you guys have enjoyed listening to this kind of discussion back and forth, 3 people loved it, 1 person didn't mind it, then please do subscribe. Ring my bell down below on the YouTube. You have to click the link on our social media to go to the link tree so you can listen on Spotify, Apple, or any other platforms such as Google, and I think there's another one, but there could be 2 more. Luckily, I don't have to set it up. I just create a link and it does it all for me. You can follow John at johnboy_cook on the socials for quality tweets. So you can follow Rees, Gallifrey97 on the socials, at GF97 YouTuber. You check him out on YouTube as well, at Gallifrey97 for fun trailers and other things, figure reviews, sometimes I guess when they actually release them.
Not just fun trailers, exceptionally well-made trailers, actually.
Yes, sorry, they're not fun trailers. He doesn't do memes.
I mean, they're fun, but they are also exceptionally very professionally made. And if anybody's listening, which I hope they are, give this guy a fucking job, because he's bloody good.
Thank you.
As endorsed by Russell T. Davis.
Yeah.
Yes, yes. Greg's a hiring, I've heard. Rees. Go to Greg's. Like, it's my trailer. I'm taking the piss. Yeah,
he's done more to promote Chibnall Who in the last 5 years than Chris Chibnall.
That is actually probably a fact. But yeah, go check him out. For not fun trailers, though. He doesn't do memes, so there's no memes in the Gallifrey.
They are fun to watch. They're not purposely fun.
And you can follow Beef on Twitter at the Beefhead for what Beef. How would you describe that?
Random musings of a person losing their mind in a modern day society.
Yes, and you can follow me on Twitter, AlexKing_Dom, and you follow the podcast on Twitter at the Timers Pod. We're back next week. Well, I think it's actually Doctor Who again, because there's some kind of like weird date that I need to put that episode out, which I think is in the first week of July, or maybe second. I could be wrong. I need to fact check my statements. But
is it like 6th of July?
So yes, the next episode will be.
Mr. Marshall will probably know. What is the Android invasion date?
What is the date of the Android invasion?
12th.
Oh, I don't know.
Put the date in your calendars, boys and girls.
Yeah. It'll be a date. If it's not Doctor Who, it will be James Bond. We come back with one or the other two. It's fun. And then obviously as well.
Does this mean that we're going to have back-to-back Mamoon?
Back-to-back Mamoon, yeah. Well, there could be triple Mamoon, because Mamoon's also on for The Boys season 3 whenever that finishes, so it could be triple Mamoon. So that's a fun time. So lots of things going on the show as well. I know old host of the show, Callum, wants to come on and talk about Ms. Marvel, so if that's worth talking about, that'll be an episode as well. So lots of things happening right now. They get a lot out of your Disney Plus subscription, which is a lot of fun. But yeah,
I mean, they should give us a discount, really, shouldn't they? Not you, because you've just like.
I'm just like not playing.
But like the rest of us, that we should get a discount.
Yeah, I unfortunately giving a Disney show a 6 out of 10. It's not good enough endorsement. No, what I would say is to those people that have enjoyed it, I'm happy for you. Good fit. Like I'm happy that you get stuff that you can enjoy. I just don't see it. I just can't see it in the light that you do. You're like, oh, this is a really cool fight.
Lisa, I think because
as I always say, in terms of people disagreeing about media and stuff, like if you've enjoyed something and somebody else hasn't, why are you mad at them? Because you've enjoyed it, you win.
Yep,
you've already won.
Whereas I haven't won, but hopefully I'll win more in the future with other shows because that's
Like you said,
important.
you obviously you don't enjoy the prequels and
No.
like, but like you said,
One thing I am dreading is doing Star Wars movies on this channel because it's going to start at 4, 5, and 6 and be really positive and happy, and then slowly I'll just turn into this. Well, that's all a piece of shit.
You probably have an argument about what order you do them in the first place.
4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 7, 8, 9.
It's the correct answer.
Spin-offs. If we do the spin-offs. But yes, there we go. See you guys later on. Take care, everyone. Have a good rest of your week. It's meant to be warm in the UK. If you're not in the UK, hopefully the weather treats you well. And take care. Smiley, smiley faces. I give it to John Cook to wrap up.
Good night. God bless. Don't have nightmares. Do sleep well.